Cop kills.
It was self-defense.
Within the black Bonnie and Clyde.
Queen and Slim is drawing a lot of early comparisons to the 60s classic Bonnie and Clyde. They're even called the Black Bonnie and Clyde at one point in the film. Was that part of the intent from the get-go to do a modern twist or modern take on that?
I mean, I revisited that movie actually before I started writing, but just because I'm an artist and I wanted to research some things before I got into it. But it is never meant to be a black version of anything. I absolutely, because I'm an honest person, so I'm going to have Uncle Earl run toward it. He's going to say, if it ain't the Black Bonnie and Clyde, because that's sort of an easy thing to do. But I did not necessarily want it to be that. And also, I think once people see the movie, they can walk out, oh, yeah, no, that's not like Bonnie and Clyde at all.
I really try to stay away from black films being compared to some white archetype. I feel like it's diminishing to this film because it's completely different. Queen and Slim are not criminals. They are forced into the situation because of police brutality and this shared experience, and they're not robbing banks. And then they fall in love on this journey, and there's two people who probably wouldn't have chosen to even be together further than a very awkward first date.
I did watch it, actually.
Yeah.
What I took from it was I was like, perhaps it's not necessarily about the message of the film, because I feel like the characters are so completely different. So I was interested to see how these filmmakers handled that topic at that time. It's so different to Bonnie and Clyde, and I understand people want to sort of make comparisons. What I'm not mad about is that comparison is going to maybe draw people to want to then investigate the movie and then see for themselves how it's different.
Failed to execute a turn signal back there.
Go ahead and ask you to step out of the vehicle for me. Could you please hurry up?
What did you say?
It's just cold.
Unlike Bonnie and Clyde, I mean, these people are not criminals. Like many people we've seen gunned down in real life, but they're sort of forced into these roles as a result of societal systemic racism. What do you guys think this film could potentially add to sort of the discourse we're having in this country around excessive force, around police brutality, around Black Lives Matter?
I think that's what the comparison strikes up an interesting conversation, because Bonnie and Clyde committed a crime to get themselves into that situation, whilst Queen and Slim were black, and how they're perceived as black people escalated the situation where they had to, in a bid to survive, they had to just do things. That needs to be interrogated. It's the criminalization of black life in this society, that's in the media, and how they describe something that's happened, and a lot of times subconsciously they blame blackness for things happening.
I hope it shines a light on the systematic racism that's in law enforcement. I hope it also creates that dialogue about what the black experience is, like what it feels like to be these two people of color in a car when you're pulled over by police, right? And this real sense of fear, knowing that your life can be taken in a matter of seconds if you say the wrong thing because people are so blinded by their prejudices.
What I want to do is show how human black people are. I think when you humanize someone, it becomes more difficult to be complacent with their death. There's a thing that actually, funny enough, happens in the movies, a thing that I've read about, that if you're ever being held up and there's a gun to your head, the advice people give you is to start saying very personal things about your life. To say where you work, if you have children, if you have a spouse, if you have family nearby, if you've survived an illness, because then the person holding the gun does what? They start to sympathize. You're humanizing yourself for them, so it becomes more difficult for them to possibly kill you. And that I play with that in the movie.
Right, you flip it.
Yeah, I do that. But also in the film, that's sort of almost what I'm doing, is that I'm presenting to you two very fully, fledged like human beings, and by the end, you feel like you could be one of them. You feel connected to them. You've laughed with them. You've watched them fall in love with each other. So what I'm doing is I'm putting you in a position of, look at the humanness in front of you.
I just want to go home, and I want to see my family.
If you turn yourself in, you will never see them again.